Wife Material Podcast, Being a Woman, Part 2. So the first part was about, was largely about modern women, because modern women aren't the same as the women of the past. And the irony is that modern women aren't living up to the modern, the quote-unquote modern standard, right? Like, they're not living up to the term being a modern woman, which is weird. The whole idea of like being of saying you're a modern woman and talking about, things are different now than they used to be, but in reality, it's not. You're just acting like it is different, but it's not different. Things now is not that different from the ancient times. It's not that different from prehistoric time, right? It's not that different. Some differences, yes, but it's not that different. Our fundamental needs and wants are pretty much still the same. We still need food, shelter, love. We still need these things. We haven't evolved past these things, past the need of these things, or even the want of these things. This is why men still want women, right? This is why men still want to build things when we could just stop building things. We could stop creating things. TikTok wouldn't exist, right? Smartphones wouldn't exist. Internet wouldn't exist. The ability to travel to Mars wouldn't exist. So, that kind of stuff is like, if it wasn't for men constantly doing things, constantly, trying to understand the life, the universe, so we can do things, we can change things, make things easier. Shit, right now, we're even trying to making babies easier, which I'm not against, but at the same time, it's like, wow, it's so sad that we're straying so far away from our natural capabilities, biology. Like, there was a time where sex was just to make babies, and it still is just for making babies, but people wanted to change it. But oh no, it feels so good. I want to do it for fun, not for making more humans. And that's where we get all this Roe v. Wade type shit and all these other issues and this whole my body, my choice type stuff. When it's like, that's a different thing. I'm not going to get into that topic on this podcast. That's for another conversation. But the thing is that modern women aren't modern, because they're hypocrites, right? They say one thing, do the opposite. Just like feminism, it's not feminism, right? It's not what it used to be. And then even the term feminism isn't right. Like, if you really listen to feminism, the term feminism, when you really think about how that sounds, that word, how it's spelled, it's literally not, equality, women's rights. It's actually the opposite. It's actually the hatred of anything feminine. Pretty much the hatred of being a woman. The hatred of being a woman is that you hate the idea of being a woman. You hate, being perceived as weak, right? You hate actually being weak, right? You hate the idea of you have to do things a certain way. Instead of, having house, car, money of your own, you have to share house, money, and cars of a guy, and the list goes on and on, right? But the thing is that it's easier to get money, house, and car from a guy than it is to get it yourself. Now, you can say, oh, it's easier now for a woman to get all those things herself. Yeah, you're welcome. Men made that possible. Men allowed you to be able to. Remember, men are the ones who let you work. And then that gets me into the whole patriarch thing, the whole patriarch bullshit. It's like, if we truly lived in a patriotic society, there would be no feminism. There would be no women working. There would be no option. There would be no my body, my choice. None of that. No pro-choice. None of that would exist. None of that would exist if patriarchy was real. Clearly, the patriarchy ain't real. Because if it was, none of that would exist. And the only reason that stuff exists is because men are allowing it, which proves that there is no patriarchy. The only way there could be a patriarchy is if men don't allow anything to, anything that women want to exist. It would just be what guys want always and never what women want. But the thing is, the society we live in is created because of what women want, of what women need. They need to be part of a society. They need to be protected from nature, from themselves by men. We protect you more than you protect us. What you do for us is you help create more of us so we can keep doing our job, our purpose, our existence. Our existence is to build, protect, and we do it because we're built to do it. So of course we do it. We're going to do what our function, our primary biological function is. This is just like it's also our job to get women pregnant, right? So this whole idea of trying to deny that, the idea of like, yes, you can have sex with me, but you can't get me pregnant, so I can't do to you what I'm literally born to do. It's like telling me I'm not allowed to lift heavy things, even though I'm biologically designed to lift heavy things. I'm not allowed to breathe air, even though I'm designed to function breathing air. I'm not allowed to eat, even though I function because of food, because I need it for the calories, for energy, right? It's like telling a car that, don't put gas in the car, but it needs the gas in order for it to even function. And that's the thing. It's denying biology, denying the truth, the reality. That's nonsense. But that's the crazy clown world we're in now, right? But enough about the modern woman, because we already see that that's not even that doesn't even live up to the term. It's nothing very modern, advanced, enlightened when it comes to the concept of a modern woman. It's just another way of saying spoiled brat. It's another way of saying little girl, right? Immature women, right? That's all that really means. Or want to be a man, right? Modern woman who want to be a man. And what's so ironic about that, about wanting to be a man, but still spew stuff like men are liars, cheaters, men are bad, men ain't shit, blah, blah, blah. Men are dogs, saying all these negative things about the male gender, but y'all want to do what we do. Y'all want to have what we have, which means you don't hate us, right? Or you don't hate men, right? You just hate that you aren't a man. That's what you really hate. You hate being female. That's what feminism really is. The hatred of being female. And the hatred of not being able to be an actual man. Because apparently you want to be a man. You want to do what we do. You want to be strong. You want to be, as creative and as competitive as we are. You want to be able to build things, but you're too lazy to do so. Because no one's stopping you from building anything. You want to build something, build it.
L2 radio check.
And we want women to be able to do things that, that men can do and have done. It'd be awesome to be able to say that, oh, this awesome thing that made the world a better place was created by a woman, and be able to know her name and be able to celebrate it, right? We want that. We want to be able to say that. Because the thing is, we always celebrate, mothers, right? We always celebrate our moms, our grandmas, right? We always celebrate them for what they do. 1, creating us, right? 2, teaching us right from wrong, right? Teaching us, important life lessons, teaching us love and compassion, all those good things, right? We have tons of good memories of our, mothers and grandmothers and aunts, right? And sisters, right? A lot of great memories. And vice versa. But it's just unfortunate that in the older years, you know, when females were young, everything was good. They got along with everybody. They got along with guys just fine. But as soon as y'all get old, feminism kicks in. And now y'all don't want to be women no more. Y'all don't want to be female no more. Y'all don't want to be feminine no more. And the irony with that is that it's like, but that's where your strength comes from. Right? Just like how we use the term Superman, there's also Superwoman. I'll use that one, or Wonder Woman. I use, you know, those terms. Like, you know, there's such thing of being a Superwoman, which is a equivalent to a Superman. It doesn't have to be equal, it just has to be equivalent. Because you have your own strength. And in many ways, you can surpass a man. A woman can be better than a man in a lot of things, but she has to put in the work. The bullshit is not doing anything, not putting in no work, but want to be treated, want to be lied to, and be delusional in thinking and being treated as if you are equal or superior to a man when you did nothing to even prove that. You did nothing to even have the superiority, but you want the superiority. It's like, that makes no sense. But that's if we're going into a competition type of thing. But the thing is, it's not supposed to be a competition. Men and women are not in competition. Never were, never were supposed to be. But modern, you know, women, feminism, you know, started giving females the idea that they're supposed to be in competition with men. It's like, no, you're supposed to be in cooperation with men. We're supposed to work together to build things together. And we build things differently. Right? While you build the team, I teach the team, right? I coach the team, right? You build the team and I coach them, right? I help build their character. I help build their minds and their morals. You help with, you know, all the other aspects of it. You help build their bodies, literally, and, you know, through, you know, health and fitness and stuff like that. You know, you help them with their schoolwork, and the list goes on. You know, you help them with their emotions, right? How to better manage it, how to better control it. You know, how to coexist with it, how to live with emotions, especially if somebody is more emotional than normal. How to be able to cope with it. It's the same thing as like if a kid had, you know, some type of mental disability. You as a parent, whether you're male or female, should put an effort to help the child be able to live life as normal as possible with this condition, with this limitation. Just like being short, right? Living the, you know, trying to do things in a world that's pretty big while you're small, and vice versa, right? Trying to do things while you're big. You know, there's a lot of things you got to learn to deal with. And that's where, you know, mother and father, you know, co-parenting, right? Working together to raise child come into play. And this is why men and women supposed to come together for that. If you're not interested, and I'm speaking to females specifically, obviously, if you're not interested in having children, leave men alone. Jesus Christ, leave them alone. It would make sense that if you didn't have a job, right, you didn't have money, that but you still don't want kids, but you mess with men. I get it, because they have stuff you need, which is money, right, resources, stuff like that. They're useful, right? They could do things for you, you know, things that you can't do for yourself if you were in that situation. But you're not in that situation. You're in the, I can pay my own bills. I can do this, that, and the third. I'm self-sufficient, blah, blah, blah. It's like, great. You can take care of yourself. So if you can take care of yourself and you don't want kids, all right, then leave me alone. Stop chasing after me. Stop wanting things from me. Stop expecting things from me. Stop complaining to me. Stop saying that I'm bad just because you had bad experiences with other guys. I'm not them. I am me. And you chose them. Not the other way around. So let's not act like, you're the best judge of character, clearly, because your track record has shown that you're not. So for you to say that I'm bad when all your choices have always been bad, that says a different story. That tells a totally different story. So I'm not trusting your judgment, because your judgment clearly is poor. Now, I want your judgment to be better. I want you to improve, do better. This is why you have guys out there on the internet telling women, right, females, to do better, because we want you to. If we didn't want you to do better and to be happy and stuff like that, then we'll just let y'all keep doing what y'all been doing this whole time. Keep being miserable, right? Keep making bad decisions. Keep messing with these fuckboys, right? These chads, right? Whatever you want to call them. These pookies and ray-rays. Keep messing with them, right? Keep being sad. Keep being mad. Keep regretting things. Keep getting old to the point where you're just going to, be a cat lady or a dog lady. That's the new thing. Women want dogs now. And it's just the irony that females will be talking about men are dogs, but then y'all go get yourselves a dog as opposed to getting a man. So y'all will stop dating guys and then go get a dog. But you say men are dogs. Are you trying to say men are awesome? Men are loyal? Men are, good protectors? Like, what are you trying to say? You can't say men are... If you're saying men are dogs as it's just meant to be an insult, it's meant to be a bad thing, then why are you getting a dog as a pet if men are dogs? It makes sense that cat ladies had cats, right? And they're the same ones that at some point in their lives were like, all men are dogs, which is why you got a cat, because a cat is the opposite of a dog. But the fact that you got modern women out here having dogs instead of a man, it's like, but they'll also use the term men, all men are dogs, is like, is that, I'm still confused, is that meant to be an insult or a compliment? Because y'all seem to like dogs. And if men are dogs, then why don't you have a man? Why don't you have a husband if all men are dogs? Y'all seem to like dogs. So why don't you have a dog and a man? Why don't you have both? Right? Because they're both dogs, apparently. So why don't you? Make it make sense is what I'm saying. So this is the hypocrisy that we see out there in this world. And instead of trying to come up with solutions to problems, I just want to keep pointing out problems. And the irony is, most of the problems, y'all created it, but then y'all want to blame men for it. Want to blame guys for it, even though it's your decision, right? You wanted freedom, right? You wanted independence, is what I'm saying. You wanted independence, well, you got it, and this is what comes with independence. Everything wrong in your life is your fault. There was, it was ironic. There was a time that, yes, the mistakes and the the wife crashing a car or something like that was the husband's fault, right? Was his responsibility. He had to, because it was his car that she was using, right? It was his car, and he's the one with the money, so he has to pay for the insurance and this and that and all that stuff. He has to deal, with the consequences of her actions, because she was his responsibility. Just like how, parents' children are their responsibilities, right? Just like how your family members, your brothers and sisters, your parents, your grandparents, they're part of your responsibility, and vice versa. That you are their responsibility, you are their responsibility. That's the thing. We humans are responsible for one another. And there was a time where, yes, if a wife stole something, she was stealing stuff, that automatically fell on the husband. That was the husband's fault. Think about how crazy that was. He didn't do anything wrong. It's his wife that did something wrong, right? Just like his wife going around, doing, some adult things that she shouldn't be doing. That was the husband's fault. He gets blamed for that, for her behavior. Think about it. That's how it used to be. Now, with the independence, now all your decisions are your fault. You can't keep blaming men for shit because it's your fault. Your body, your choice, right? Which also means your fault, your responsibility, your accountability. You can't put that on a man, your boyfriend, your husband, your father, your brothers, you can't put that on them anymore because you're independent, which means everything you do wrong is on you. There was a time, yes, it was on your brothers to look out for you and make sure you didn't, go follow this boy to behind bleachers or something and end up doing something you'll regret. It was up to your brothers to prevent that. It was up to your father to talk to your boyfriends before letting your boyfriends take you out on a date alone, just y'all two, right? That's why we had chaperoning, parents chaperone. We had, you had to meet the parents first. You definitely had to meet the father first in order to be with his daughter, and vice versa. So it's like, we had these things for a reason. That's why we call it being traditional. That's why we call it tradition. This is stuff that were passed down from generation after generation, and it worked for thousands of years, and we exist now. The funny thing is, modern day society exists because of traditional, men and women relationships. It's not, the modern way is not beneficial. You can see it. The birth rate is decreasing. Not only is the birth rate decreasing, happiness is decreasing. Social unrest. Men and women at war with one another, while there's literally an actual war with Russia and Ukraine. Think about how stupid that is. That we're still out here complaining about, relationships when we literally got people dying left and right halfway across the world, which is more important than, some guy not wanting to be your boyfriend or husband. It's like, well, choose better. Find some guy who does. Look in your friend zone. Look at the guy that is overweight but has a cute face. He's good enough. Insist that he goes to the gym. Offer him sex for it. Go to the gym. Spend 2 hours in the gym. I give you 15 minutes of my body. Like, shit. Make it work. Make it make sense. Trust me. He'll spend 2 hours at the gym if he can, get a couple minutes of your time, your love, whatever you want to call it, your goodies. Logically, you want men to be better? You literally can motivate them to be better. Literally, just with your body alone. And it helps, right? If your body is better, right? If you're in good shape and you want him to be in great shape, then you'd be like, well, if you want to enjoy this awesome body, you need to improve your body. And he'll be like, correct. That's facts. That is facts. That's logic. That is true. That makes sense. I'm gonna go hit the gym. And that's another thing. You can get a home gym. If anything, you should have a home gym. Right? Get all these guys that have great personalities, that treat you nice, treat you good. And if they're overweight, fine. Bring them to your place. Let them spend an hour or two in your home gym and let them get in shape. Let them burn off some of that fat in the gym and in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. So, make it make sense. It's all about solutions, solving problems. Men are all about solving problems. Even I tell a lot of guys, my friends and stuff like that, like, hey, you don't need to if you want to check who's in good shape, you don't have to go out there, look for a woman that's already in good shape. I mean, if you find her, that's great, right? But if you find some females, right, that have nice personalities, cute faces and stuff like that, good genetics, but they're just overweight, then get them a gym membership. Take them with you to the gym with your gym membership. You should have one anyway. Take them with to the gym with yours. I got a gym membership for Planet Fitness, and I have the black card where I can take an extra person with me. So of course I'm gonna take my female, companions to the gym with me. For moral support, right? But as well as for them to get in shape, right? We should be healthy. So that kind of stuff is like solution meets problems, and guys are all about solving problems. A lot of the podcasts out there, a lot of the Manosphere podcasts, even this podcast, it's to make things better. It's to solve problems. That's why I'm here talking about, if you want to be a wife, well, here's some stuff that should help you be a wife. Be a better woman. Just like, because the funny thing is, guys, for many years, we listen to women. We listen to what they want, right? This is why the bad boys, right, the fuck boys, started acting like good boys. They used to just be assholes all the time. Be narcissistic, as some females like to say nowadays, toxic all the time. But women loved it regardless. Even though it was obvious that they were douchebags, as long as they were nice to her, that's all she cared about. He's nice to her, but an asshole to society. And she loves him. Oh, he's amazing. You don't understand him like I do. No, you don't understand him like we do. We know he's pretending. He's being nice to you. Of course he's going to be nice to you. Because he can get stuff from you. Of course he's going to be nice to you. But look how he's being an asshole to the rest of the world. Him being an asshole to the rest of the world is who he really is. Right? That's the reality. But then they start realizing, oh man, I gotta make sure I act nice all the time, right? So that way, females who see me would be like, oh my God, he's such a nice guy. He's so amazing. I should go, give him booty. Like, that's what the bad boys are thinking. Like, you know what? Girls, because there was a time girls started realizing, like, you know what? We're going to stop chasing the basketball players, the jocks, right? And the tough guys, the bad boys. We're going to start, dating the nerds and the guys who are good in, get good grades and stuff like that. And the guys with, that got jobs and whatnot, right? The average guy, as it were, right? And then when the fuck boys, right? The bad boys, the jocks, start seeing that and be like, oh no, that's bullshit. These were our females, right? These were our women. They're supposed to be chasing us, not these nerds, not these good boys. So then they start pretending to be us. Start to pretending to be nerds. Start to pretending to be good guys. So much so that now in modern day time, modern women talking about good guys, they're bad. They're not real. Don't trust a good guy. Good guys this and good guys. They're like, damn. Really? These fuckboys, these bad guys made being a good guy a bad thing? Think about how that don't make sense. The term about being a good guy is that that's what you are. You are good. If you think a guy is a good guy, but then it turns out he's not, well, newsflash, he actually wasn't a good guy. That was the point. He wasn't a good guy, and you didn't even notice it until it was too late. But it was obvious that he wasn't a good guy. A good guy is always a good guy. That's the whole point. But now these assholes are making good guys look bad. Just like you got a whole bunch of these little immature boys out here, right? Male adults, immature male adults out here dealing with all these different females, and then giving them the impression that they're immature, selfish, douchebag behavior is the behavior of a man. It's like, no, that's not the behavior of a man. That's not a man. He's not acting like a man. He's acting like a grown-ass child. He's acting like a teenage boy while he's in his 20s or 30s. He's not a real man. He hasn't become a man yet y'all think he is a man because he's old and he has a penis. Jesus Christ. Learn the difference, ladies. There's a difference between a man and a man-child. And there is the female equivalent, right? There is such thing as a female, that, essentially a female, right? Is a girl in a woman's body, right? There is that. That's why it's important for guys to make sure that they don't mess with females. They're essentially girls in women's bodies, right? We expect better, right? Women usually were the moral compass, right? They were the example of being better, right? Of being good, right? Boys or guys were bad, immature. Women were mature. Women, made better decisions. Blah blah blah. That used to be a thing in the past. That's not the case now. Now it's the opposite. I'm not trying to get into too many different details of personality traits, but let's get back to women of the past, right? what made them better than the women or the females that we have now, right? What makes women of the past better than modern women? One, historical fact is that they definitely have way more freedoms, way more options than modern women. Modern women, their main option is to be independent. It's rare now, more than it used to be, for a woman to be able to be a wife, right? Guys don't want to get married nowadays as much as they used to. Guys don't even want to be in relationships now as much as they used to. Guys been trying to get away from the relationship. That's why you have stuff like, podcasts like Kevin Samuels, for example, even Fresh and Fit in them. You have other podcasts like that trying to encourage guys to not give up on women, not to give up on, relationships and, coexisting with women, not give up on, if you have kids, right? We try to tell guys like, hey, if you got kids, try to make it work with your baby moms, and vice versa. We tell baby moms, try to make it work with your baby dads. Y'all made kids together. Y'all need to make that work. Y'all can't put that on the government. Y'all can't keep having the government in the states get involved in y'all decisions. Y'all decided to have sex and y'all made a baby. That's on you. Y'all two got to deal with it. Y'all got to work it out. Trying to involve the government is bullshit. And then y'all have the audacity to complain about Roe v. Wade or whatever, right? And pro-choice and stuff like that, when y'all always have the choice to not have sex with someone you don't want to have kids with, or not to have sex to the point where you do get pregnant. We literally invented so many different ways to prevent y'all ladies from getting pregnant. We even created birth control for men, so it'd be harder for them to get you pregnant by accident. But pregnancies are not accidents. If you have sex, pregnancy is supposed to happen. If you don't get pregnant, that's the accident. If you have sex with a man and you don't get pregnant, that's the accident. That's the thing that's not normal. What's normal is you're supposed to get pregnant. That's the whole purpose of sex. If you don't want to get pregnant, stop using your vagina. Stop letting guys use your vagina for sex. Let them use every other part of your body for sex. Stop letting them use your vagina for sex. Stop letting them have sex with you without a condom, without you taking birth control, and so forth and so forth. You know what I mean? If you don't want kids, let's say you don't want kids ever, get your tubes tied. Do whatever you can to prevent the possibility of getting pregnant. That way you don't have to make the choice of an abortion. Abortion should be, a last resort. It should be something that happens because of, uncontrollable circumstances, right? I'm going to say it like rape or something, right? I'm all for abortions when it comes to rape, but I'm not for abortions when it comes to you just wanted to get gangbanged, or you just wanted to get a couple of drinks at a bar, at a club or something, and just, leave the club with some random dude, and then, oh shit, I got pregnant. Well, duh, you had sex. That happens. You could have not did anything that led up to that, right? You could have been more responsible. A lot of people act like, females act like getting pregnant is like catching the cold, getting sick, randomly sick. Like, oh, I didn't know I was going to get pregnant. You had sex. Of course you know you were going to get pregnant. That's how sex works. That's literally how it works. That's the whole purpose of it. Of course you knew that you're going to get pregnant. That's how that works. That's the whole point. This is why we give you stuff to prevent it. This is why we have condoms and birth control and the tubes tied constant, and vexessomy, whatever it's pronounced. Whatever. It don't matter. I don't need it, because I wouldn't be stupid enough to to have sex with a woman that I don't want to get pregnant in the first place. I'm smarter than that. The point is that we got people out here being dumb and ignorant, having sex and thinking there's no consequences. You do though, you can get diseases, right? Like AIDS. Like you have sex and you suddenly get a disease. It's like, well, one, we know that can happen, and two, you should have prepared and try to prevent that. Y'all make such a big deal about like pregnancy and wanting abortion, right? But that can be prevented much easier than the possibility of you getting a disease, even though we do have ways to test out. Like you shouldn't be having sex with somebody unless you A, confirm that you don't have no diseases, and B, confirm they don't have no diseases. This is why it's important to be married, to get, physicals done, right? Get checked, make sure y'all don't have diseases, and then y'all can have sex, whether it be for fun or to reproduce. But the idea that you got people out here, men and females, out here having sex recreationally, and then you hear the AIDS epidemics, you hear all types of STDs being transmitted, then you got all these births that no one wants to have happening. It's like, yeah, and then you're going to create overpopulation, and the solution to that problem of overpopulation is to stop reproducing unnecessarily. If you're not going to be responsible for the child, stop reproducing them, because then you're just putting that burden on society. So that's why it's not your body and your choice. It is your body, yes, but it's not your choice. We gotta be more responsible. That's what I'm trying to say and trying to get at. It's like, we need to be more responsible. Like, I agree that it's your body, your choice to make better decisions, to make the choice of doing things to not get pregnant. Because here's the thing, I'm for abortion, right, as a last resort, right? If you took birth control, you made sure he wore a condom. If male birth control is available at the time, he takes the male birth control, right? Whatever, right? If y'all did all of those things and still you get pregnant, then I'm all for the option, not choice, option of you being able to get the abortion, right? And especially, it should be mutual. I do hate the idea of like it just be a woman choosing it, right? Saying that, well, I want to be able to be the only one that dictates if it happens or not. When it should be a mutual agreement that it happens. Because here's the thing, right? You can say, oh yeah, it's my body, and if I don't want to have a child, I shouldn't have to. I agree that you shouldn't have to have a child if you don't want to have a child, and y'all do your best to try to, one, not get pregnant. But if you end up accidentally getting pregnant, if the guy is like, yeah, I agree with this as well, yes, go for it. We have ways to prevent it, as well as we have ways to correct it if it accidentally happens, right? If it happens regardless of all the preventive measures. But if it's if it's a different scenario where it's like you and your husband and we're trying to have kids and this, that, and the third, and everything was going good, but then one day, and then you're pregnant, you're happy and stuff, but then after a couple like weeks or something, suddenly you're mad at your husband, and now you're like, I want an abortion. It's like, that's not good. And in that scenario, especially if y'all married, he needs to have the right to have say. I do not agree with him not having rights to have say, considering the fact that he's married to you. Y'all married. He should have rights to say what happens, because y'all a union. Y'all together. You're not individuals. Y'all a couple. So both of y'all have to agree as to be a unanimous decision, not an individual decision. If you're an individual, aka single, and you get pregnant, even though you try not to get pregnant while you're a single woman, then yes, and that after after you exhausted all your options, right, your choices of preventing pregnancy, but you still got pregnant, then yes, I understand that it should be an option for you to have that situation fixed if that's the situation. But the idea of try to say this it's a healthcare thing, it's like, no, it's not a healthcare thing, because if you cared about your health, then you wouldn't be randomly having sex with guys in the first place. Randomly having sex with guys is a health risk. So you should mitigate your random interactions with multiple dudes. This is why you're supposed to find one man, one penis to satisfy you for the rest of your life, and then marry it. Dedicate yourself to it. Enjoy it. Because this ridiculousness of having a whole bunch of dudes and you're playing Russian roulette with your body, you're running multiple risks. And then you're not the only female doing this. You got tons of other females doing this. So you have a lot of other females that are probably way more irresponsible than you, and they're probably, like I was saying, you have, there could be females out there that are way more irresponsible, getting all types of diseases and stuff like that, and then start sharing it with a lot of guys. And then these guys are the same guys that you're interacting with, right? Because they're the best guys, right? They got money, they got good looks and stuff like that. So then now these guys are getting these diseases from those irresponsible females, and then that's transmitting over to you, and then now you're ending up with something you shouldn't have, because you shouldn't be in an activity that's a high risk activity. You should be more cautious, more careful. You should care about yourself more, right? Especially when you hear all this self-love stuff out here, but you got females not really living up to the whole self-love thing, right? Because they're out here not properly loving themselves, because they're out here just letting random dudes that didn't put a ring on it use you for fun. And society's falling apart because of it, right? Hopefully things get better. When you want to solve a problem, when you want improvements, you want things to get better, first and foremost, you got to solve your own problems, right? You got to better yourself first. See if you're part of the problem, because more likely you are. And if you are part of the problem, then fix it, right? Fix your contribution to problems, right? And then share your your experience, your knowledge, right, of you solving your problems with others, so that way they can do the same, and then it spreads, and hopefully that's the way it's supposed to, right? It goes viral, right? It spreads, and everybody does better. Everybody's improving, because that's what we guys are doing. We're out here telling each other to get in shape, make more money, so you can have a better life, at least for yourself, first and foremost. But if you find a really good woman, a real decent female to spend the rest of your life with, then you can afford to spend the rest of your life with. Because the funny thing is, most guys and gals, they make enough money for themselves. Sometimes they make a little extra, but they typically just make enough money for themselves, right, for them to survive. So the whole relationship thing becomes a little bit of a contradiction of like, well, if you make your own money, right, it should reduce the burden of the other person, right, the guy typically, from needing to make twice as much money, more than he needs for himself. That way he can afford for the stuff he needs, but also be able to take care of your needs. This is why men used to have to make more money. Sometimes men had to work 2 jobs, so that way one job is for him and one job was for her. But she didn't have to physically do the job. She just stays home, right? Or travels, goes around the city and do whatever she wants to do. Not whatever she wants to do, but do reasonable things. And he worked the 2 jobs. He did all the work to bring not only his own bag, but bring her bag as well. But now you got females out here, got their own bag, which I'm all happy for, but it should be because you don't want my bag, and you don't want me to have to bring an extra bag. So I shouldn't see your hand in my pockets. I shouldn't be hearing you telling me that I need to, buy you a whole bunch of stuff. If I offer it is one thing. If I'm, showering you with gifts, that's one thing. But for you to expect it and demand it, even though you got your own money, but you still want to put your hands in my pocket, in my wallet, right, in my bag, and then you want me to bring an extra bag for you. Like, wait, you're digging in my bag, but you want me to bring an extra bag for you, but you got your own bag. Make that make sense. And I'm all for, doing more for others than they do for me, because I don't need that much to be happy. I don't need that much to, because I do good. I'm fortunate. If I want more, I'll go get more for myself. But I'm not a sucker, right? I'm not going to be, I'm not here to be taken advantage of. I'm here to help. Yes, I help you. You have needs that needs to be met. I'll meet them. I'll do my best. But I'm not here to be taken advantage of, right? Just like you wouldn't like me to take advantage of you, right? Don't take advantage of me unless we're going to be mutual about it. If you want to take advantage of me and have me spend a whole bunch of money on you, even though you have your own money, then you need to let me take advantage of you. That's only fair. That's what equality is about, right? Well, not equality. It's about being fair. Fair is fair. So all I'm saying, let's be fair. If I'm going to take you on, dates and trips and this, that, and the third, then what I want in return, I should get. It should be gladly given what I want. So if I want you to play video games with me, then that's what you do. You shouldn't be arguing, shouldn't be debating, shouldn't be questioning, and definitely shouldn't have the mindset of like, oh, you feel that you don't owe me that. Correction, you do owe me that. Because if I did stuff for you, you owe me stuff in return. I scratched your back, you're supposed to scratch mine. For you to feel that you don't have to is like, really? Okay, well, if that's how you want to be, right? You feel you don't owe me anything, or owe men anything in general, even though everything around you is man-made, fine. Then men don't owe you anything either. We already gave you too much already. We gave you your own shit. We gave you stuff that you can get yourself, right? House, cars, money, food, clothing, shelter, right? Get a taser for self-defense. Go do things yourself. Go cook for yourself. Do everything for yourself then. We gave you that ability. We gave it to you. You didn't give it to yourself. We gave it to you. We created it for you. And all we ask in return, ironically, is gratitude. Appreciation that we gave you these things. These things that you can use to live your life as a independent single person. But for some reason, it's still not enough, and you want more, and you want us, and all this extra shit. It's like, okay, make that make sense, but whatever. But women of the past, they knew that there was always a price to pay, right? I want to focus more on the positive, not the negatives, more so than anything. We can say that, yeah, in the past, there was some, abuse and whatnot. Yes, but that was rare. That wasn't common. That was rare. Females taking advantage of guys was more common than guys abusing women. Guys abusing women was very rare, and of course that's frowned upon, of course, right? We definitely hold men accountable for that, right? We hold guys accountable for that because abuse is illegal, and we tend to throw you in jail for that, right? So this whole like, oh, men are not held accountable for stuff, bullshit. 99% of laws exist to hold men accountable. 1% is to hold female accountable. Right? I mean, think about it. Out of all the laws that exist, notice Roe v. Wade or whatever is one of the few things out there, laws and stuff out there that women care about. Think about that. They don't care about any other laws. They definitely don't care about child support laws, right? They don't care about divorce laws, right? Things like that. They don't care about that. Anything that holds men accountable or greatly punishes, which is the whole holding accountable, men, y'all all for it and support, but y'all not against it, right? Y'all don't be like, oh, that's too harsh. That's too unreasonable. That's too unfair. No, y'all think that's perfectly fine. If anything, y'all wish it was harsher. Like, why should I take half his money when I divorce him? I should get all of it. Damn. Inconsiderate much? Selfish much? Bitchy much? Shitty human being much? Piece of shit much? Like, come on. Hypocrite much? And the list goes on, right? Like, damn. So think about the level of hypocrisy. Right? What's also extra ironic is that I see a lot of the idea of like the whole Roe v. Wade, which I'm going to talk about a little bit, just a little bit. The whole Roe v. Wade thing is ignoring the fact that a lot of females support it. You know, okay, let me go with the whole pro-choice, pro-life thing. There's a lot of females, right? A lot of women who are pro-life. It's not like guys are pro-life and women are pro-choice. That is not the case. If anything, it's actually the opposite. Men are naturally born to be pro-choice. Women are naturally born to be pro-life, right? Because men are the ones who are supposed to choose, be like, okay, you know what? I will have sex with you. And if you get pregnant, well, that's what's supposed to happen because I chose to have sex with you. So pro-choice. If I don't want you to get pregnant with my child, right, or our child, then I won't have sex with you. I would say no to your sexual advances. And that would be pro-choice. That's the thing. If you're pro-choice, you should be choosing against having sex. You know, or at least sex that leads to pregnancy. I'm not saying like sex in general. If you want to do other freaky things, to each their own, but I'm just saying like the sex that leads to pregnancy, because, you know, hand jobs don't lead to pregnancy, among other sexual things you can do don't lead to pregnancy, but that one thing that does lead to pregnancy should be the thing that you save. You save that for your husband, save that for the right guy, conserve that, you know, maintain that for the right guy that you want to have kids with. Stop letting every guy use it. That's what I'm saying, right? That's a choice. But y'all, for some reason, ladies, y'all don't want to choose that one. Y'all don't want to make that choice, even though that's the smart, logical choice, right? Dildos exist, right? Sex toys exist. He doesn't have to use his actual penis to penetrate you and you know, make you happy. He can put on a strap-on, right? And this is why we have condoms, so that way it simulates a strap-on, right? So it simulates a dildo. The idea is to try to prevent you from getting pregnant, unless you want to be pregnant. That's what choice is supposed to be. You choose the right decision, not make a bad decision by having unprotected sex, and then like, oh shit, got pregnant. I made a mistake. Time to choose to fix it. Like, no, you should have chose not to get pregnant. You should have chose better. Chose a better man, right? And chose not to get pregnant. And by choosing better men, that also will increase the chances of him not being the type of guy that for some reason can't seem to prevent himself from getting you pregnant. Like, he has a little bit control of himself, or at least should have control to pull out. So he is as much responsible as you, but you are still responsible ultimately, especially since you're the one who chooses if he gets to have sex with you in the first place. He just has to agree with it. That's the difference. Your choice is to have sex. His choice is to agree to having sex. So ultimately, when it comes to sex, it's a woman's responsibility to be responsible. And if females want to be like, oh yeah, we're good, judge a character, we're good women, blah, 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 this and that, we're amazing, strong, independent, all this extra stuff. If y'all want to keep talking about yourselves in a positive capacity, then y'all need to live up to that positive capacity, which means you should never, ever accidentally get pregnant. Ever. If you do be getting pregnant left and right, then you're not as perfect or as awesome as you think you are. Just because you're female, and females out here are talking about they're amazing and they're great and they're strong and empowered and blah, 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 doesn't mean they actually are. That's just words. Words don't mean shit. Actions speak louder than words. And if your actions is that you just very irresponsible and you're getting pregnant left and right, then you're not awesome. You're not strong, right? You're definitely not independent. Independent means you would have took care of your own sexual needs instead of relying on a guy to do it for you. And then you end up getting pregnant because, again, irresponsibility. Accountability is very important on both sides. Yes, I agree. But that's the thing, both sides. Now, maintaining your purity, so that way for the right guy is the woman thing to do, right? You're always running the risk of diseases and pregnancy if you are irresponsible with that part of your body. And this is why I keep using the term a lot when I speak with females on the internet about your body, your choice, and I keep holding them accountable to that expression. Yes, it is your body. Yes, it is your choice. Which means if something happens to your body, it is your fault because you were the one who had the choice. It's your body, so you're supposed to choose to do what's best for your body, which means you're supposed to prevent things. You're supposed to prevent sickness. You're supposed to prevent pregnancy if you're not interested in being pregnant. No one wants to get sick, right? No one wants to get a flu or get the coronavirus or get Ebola or chickenpox or something like that. No one wants to get sick, right? So then you do stuff to be healthy to prevent that. So if you believe, your body, your choice is a healthcare thing, then take better care of your health of not getting pregnant. Do the birth control and the condoms. And if I'm right, there's even female condoms. Use them as well. Make him wear a condom. You wear the female condom. You take birth control. And then when the male birth control is available, he takes that and bang, do everything y'all can to make sure pregnancy doesn't happen. That way there is no choice, no pro-choice. Because you already made the choice to prevent the pregnancy in the first place. Instead of trying to fix it after y'all fuck up, make bad decisions. Stop making bad decisions, is what we're saying. If you believe you're smart, if you believe you're a good person, good judge of character, you make great life decisions, right? Your body, your choice, which means you make your own decisions, right? You have your own independence, then prove it through your actions. Make better decisions and prove it, right? Children out of wedlock should not exist because women are supposed to be pro-choice, right? As in, if y'all pro-life, then yeah, y'all get pregnant before marriage or even during marriage because y'all all about life. Y'all about reproducing. But if you're pro-choice, then you're not about reproducing, so stop doing things that cause reproduction. Prevent reproduction from happening. You're responsible for your body, right? Because that's the whole body, your choice thing. So you're responsible for it. Which means anything that goes wrong, like I said before, it is your fault, your responsibility. So take accountability. Stop trying to blame others for what you do, because ultimately everybody else is not responsible for what happens to you. You are responsible for what happens to you. So if something happens to you, that's on you. You should be better, do better, know better. Men got to do that all the time. They got to be responsible for themselves as much as possible. They got to hold themselves accountable. And we even have it where we have to hold each other accountable. Y'all, ladies, got to do the same. So that's the thing. It's like being a woman is a great thing. Being a woman is something you can brag about and flex and show off. And you're supposed to be an example for other females to want to be a woman, to be like you, to be awesome and amazing, because you make all the best decisions. You don't go around sleeping with every guy, right? You don't go around, getting pregnant and trying to get rid of it after the fact. You actually would not get pregnant until you're ready. And then when you're ready, then you get pregnant. Then you have kids, and then you raise them to be amazing human beings. You don't let them become degenerates and, criminals. You definitely don't let them become weak physically and mentally and emotionally. You make sure that their father is in their lives. You don't get pregnant by a guy and then just let him go off into the sunset, leaving you alone with the child. If the father wants to be in the child's life, you let him be in the life. You don't prevent him. Why? Because you're mad at him for some trivial, unimportant, childish reason. Be a real woman. Make sure he's responsible. Because the main thing is you're supposed to make sure he is responsible. That's part of what child support was originally supposed to be about, was to make sure that he takes the responsibility of taking care of his woman and his child or children, and be there for them instead of not being there for them. But instead, women are using child support as a weapon against guys. As I don't need you, but you need our money, apparently. You need us to have a job to make money, so that way money gets taken out of our paychecks to go into your pocket, and hopefully it goes into the children. Hopefully it pays for what they need. But for all that, I'm better off being in the kid's life, right? I'm better off. If anything, I should have custody of the kids. That way the money goes from my job to me and me to the kids. Why the hell does it have to go from my paycheck to you and then trust you to take care of the kids with it? If I'm the money maker, if I'm the one that's supporting them, I should be the one also raising them. I should be the one taking care of them. And then you have visitation rights. That's the way it should be. If I'm going to be the one, financially responsible for them, I should be also physically responsible for them. But anyway, that's for another conversation. That's the end of the podcast.